Welcome to UFO Buster Radio, episode number 284. I was actually going to be on here yesterday, but it turns out that some crazy storms in the area, and, I'd rather sit around and listen to Mother Nature than myself. So, it didn't happen. But I'm here today, Friday. It is October the 25th, almost All Hallows Eve. For those of you who are just chomping at the bits because you got your little, Captain America or Hulk costume just talking to you. Just urging you to just put it on. Way before it's time to walk around like that at a store or something. Or find yourself someplace where you can just enjoy yourself with a little cosplay going on. What can you do? Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Cannot worry about the consequences. As Bill Katakis found out recently. You're saying, who the hell is Bill Katakis? Well, at least once a month, there is a random rubber dicker who goes on the YouTube channel and decides to say some crazy shit. And it's really fascinating because it's usually the people that did not ever listen to the podcast, ever even read an article in their lives, or even read the article that's linked in the description. You guys have heard that phrase before. I say it every damn episode. I also say, don't listen to me, read the fucking article. But there's always one person once a month that comes out of the woodwork, types a bunch of craziness, and then thinks it's okay to just go away, to go quiet into that good night. No, you don't throw rocks at the glass house. UFO Buster Radio, because the Moonraker might be sitting in it. And I will take offense to it. Because, listen, it's okay. If you want to share your opinion, do it. But don't make a bunch of allegations and act like a jackass. Because you will get the same in kind. I'm not like those other shows you might visit, Billy, where you drop your hatred and decide it's okay, it's a free country. You can post your opinion. Absolutely, you're correct. Even if you live in a communist country and you listen to UFO Buster Radio, you can go ahead and voice your opinion. I won't tell on you. But do it with a little class. Or do it from a point of reference like you know something. Like you've actually listened to what I was saying or read what the fuck I posted. This is for Billy, because you enjoy the attention. Billy Katakakis said this. It's not the opposite of what they are about. The metamaterials can produce both visual and radar stealth. And warp space, as in warp drive. I just want you guys to know that Billy knows more than anybody else does. Like the U.S. Army does not need to investigate the metamaterial. They can just go see Billy. I mean, you just heard everything he just said he literally took the metamaterial and said that it's a warp drive. Whew. You can't write that stuff. But Billy did. You're doing conspiracy theory bullshit, man. If you understood the tech, again, what year is he from? I think Billy might be from the year that, like in the future, like the year 2089 or some shit like that. Because he also understands the tech. Which is freely, this is the part that gets me, which is freely on YouTube, you'd see what the fuck is going on. Are you serious? Folks, if I've missed this in some way, if there is warp drive technology on YouTube, somebody point me to it. If someone on there, on YouTube, has been able to not only describe the metamaterial and also save the U.S. government millions to billions of dollars trying to figure out what the fuck To the Stars Academy is sharing with them, let me know where it's at. Because shit, I could make me a pretty penny. I'll get those YouTube fuckers to go over there and throw up a contract. Get paid. But apparently, there's a lot of benevolent, knowledgeable people from the future on YouTube because Billy knows it all. And he credits YouTube about it. He says YouTube knows everything when it comes to this metamaterial and what it can do. Meanwhile, as I pointed out, that the article that he is up in arms about that says it's a conspiracy theory was actually the U.S. Army's rebuttal to kind of clear things up after To the Stars Academy announced the arrangement with them, because they wanted to make something clear, and that is that they wanted to test the material. And that where the partnership came in. And if that metamaterial means something, then they'd like to use it in vehicles. But Billy says, no, that's a bunch of shit. The thing does all these things. It's like the miracle material from the future where he's from, because they used it to defeat Thanos. And he walks around with a shield that says YouTube on it, and he can stop bullets. Thanks, Billy. I appreciate that. I appreciate the time you took, because my rebuttal was like 4 different replies. And I'll be honest, the first reply was just as tasteful, but I did, point out that it was just like a week and a half ago where Elizondo himself said that this is something that they haven't fully vetted as far as the metamaterial. So, I don't know. Maybe Billy is really the COO of To the Stars Academy, and he just goes around talking shit on YouTube. You can't write this stuff. You can't buy it because it's actually free on YouTube. So that is where that is at. So thank you. And again, feel free to come on here, talk the shit, talk the talk. But, don't come on here attacking the show just because you believe everything on YouTube that fits your perspective, that fits the bullshit that you want to believe. When the people that have the stuff are telling you that's not necessarily the case. It is what it is. I mean, shit, I watch YouTube to, try to get some good recipes and stuff like that. And those motherfuckers might be lying to me. It might taste like shit. But that's as far as I let YouTube destroy my mind. He probably is one of those that loves Secure Team 10. I'm sure Billy is. We got 2 news articles for today. Somewhat far-fetched, but they're like the yin and the yang. These 2 articles are at odds with each other. And really, it depends where you fall. Where is it that you fall in their completely different perspective on alien life? But before we get started, it is Friday, so here's a little music for you. Oh, Billy needs to strap himself in because this is going to be fascinating. And I'm sure it's my conspiracy because I am trying to give you guys a sampling of both ends of the perspective when it comes to alien life. So there you go. Somebody strap his ass down to the short bus because it's going to be a wild ride. The first article, aliens don't exist. We are totally alone in a bleak, lifeless universe, says a scientist. Note that last part. Says a scientist. It turns out a top British scientist has claimed that humanity could be alone in a vast universe that's totally devoid of alien life. Is it possible? Fuck, it could be possible. I mean, we could really be the only people, as far as the eye can see. I could believe that. It turns out Nick Longrich, a senior lecturer, and he lectures about paleontology, evolutionary biology at the University of Bath. Listen, he pretty much says that this is a possibility, that we could really be alone in the universe, and we could be looking for absolutely fucking nothing. We're wasting our time there as well. And really, that would take care of everything, right? You don't have to worry about things being light years away. You don't have to worry about abductions being about aliens because everybody's plumb fucking crazy. We've already seen that, Mr. Catechist. He added that humans couldn't evolve until fish evolved bones, then let them crawl onto the land. And then he goes on. This is like a biblical story here. Bones couldn't be evolving until complex animals appeared. Complex animals needed complex cells. Complex cells needed oxygen. That was made by photosynthesis, and none of these happened without the evolution of life. A singular event among singular events. All organisms come from a singular ancestor. And as far as we can tell, life only happened once. Which is true. From our perspective, the damn thing only happened once. Because that's all the fuck we know. That's why we're searching. But I don't want to shit on his parade. Let me just continue with what he's reporting. His conspiracy. Curiously, he says, all this takes in a surprisingly long time. Photosynthesis evolved 1.5 billion years after the Earth's formation. Complex cells about 2.7 billion years after the Earth's form. Complex animals about 4 billion years. And human intelligence, because we're still dumb as fuck as far as I'm concerned, human intelligence 4.5 billion years after the Earth was formed. And basically what he's saying is it took the entire history of the planet before intelligence actually showed up. But I guess he doesn't believe in ancient aliens either. That possibly there might have been other civilizations way older than ours that existed on the planet and probably blew themselves the fuck up or died of some kind of disease or something. So this is what he's saying. He's saying, look at the numbers. Stop fucking around. Look at the numbers. There is no evidence anywhere else that anything like humans exists anywhere. And if you look at how long it took, it is impossible for there to be life anywhere else. Not even at the same time frame of evolution. So there aren't a bunch of hairless apes somewhere else in this vast universe either, because that could only happen once. And we are the lucky recipients of that award. So, I don't know. Because he's a scientist, is that just a theory or is this some kind of conspiracy? Somebody let me know. What the hell is it that he's talking about? How many people out there actually believe that in this vast universe, the little blue planet is the only one that can hold life, that will ever hold life, and it was a damn accident that took 4.5 billion years too damn long. Seems like he has a really bleak outlook on the universe, how mankind came about, and on the other hand, I guess he thinks we are not just an accident, but in the scope of things, we are unique and cannot be replicated in any way. So that's his perspective. The article is linked in the description. Let me repeat that again, Bill. I'll be a little slower for you. The article is linked in the description. Those are the letters that have an underline and maybe the color blue, unless you're colorblind. Thank you. So now the other article, which is the yang to the yin, completely opposite. This one goes the other way. I'm telling you. I think that is, if our scientist here, Nick, actually saw this article, it's probably at the bottom of his birdcage. Or he used it to wipe his own posterior because he definitely does not believe in this. This one takes a completely different approach to why we haven't found alien life, or we don't see it, or what have you. The article says aliens have already invaded Earth on self-replicating spaceships, scientist claims. Another scientist. But he says this: these aliens, they have already invaded the planet on these self-replicating spaceships, are here, but they're hard to spot. You're not just going to be able to see them because they're like really tiny. Really small ships. The von Neumann probes are hypothetical spaceships that were first theorized by mathematician John von Neumann, who suggested that the best way to explore the galaxy would be to create tiny self-replicating probes which clone themselves exponentially. Right, because what you're going to find? Are you going to find these tiny probes? People don't look for that on this planet. They're looking for jets, drones, and things like that. They're not looking for tiny, small aircraft, spaceships, alien at that. He says this is another way to explain what the Fermi Paradox is trying to tell you. It is because these things are super tiny. You're not going to see them. He says many scientists argue that once one civilization reaches a certain size, it eventually kills itself off, as it becomes impossible to sustain either through war or advanced weapons of natural disaster, for that matter, like really bad hurricanes and shit like that, fires. But then Fermi also says the other situation is there's no life out there. But a solution to that is the fact that maybe, possibly, they're really tiny and they're all around us, constantly watching, constantly keeping an eye on humanity, visiting all the time, freely because we don't see them. He believes that these probes would be too small to spot with current technology, even if they were close to us or far away in space. But believe it or not, this guy actually says that there's a way to spot them. He's got some kind of a method to his madness that he wants to share with everyone. He said the tiny probes could be giving off tiny amounts of light as they traverse the galaxy, covering up photons, light particles, that they use basically to power themselves up. They could leave faint trails of light that could be seen miles across in the infrared light spectrum, almost appearing like they were comets. He says, we have considered a scenario when the Type 2 civilization needs to invade an interstellar clouds by means of self-replicating robots. aliens do not exist, and we think they don't because we can't actually see them. There's a lot more to his theory and how he feels they can be spotted. Now, keep in mind that the article that was published was with the Express UK. And we know how they like to promote articles by folks like a Secure Team, Paradolia Pete, and all those guys. But take it with a grain of salt. Read it because it's a real person. He's got a real theory, whether it's conspiracy or not. Heck, you'll have to make that decision. But that's why I bring the articles to you guys. That way you can check it out. Make up your own mind about what these people are saying, what they're promoting. So what is it? Are we the only folks in the universe, or is there a civilization out there that's grown to the point where they understand that they need to send out a bunch of fucking micro machines out there to travel the universe and explore? And not just any micro machines. These are not like Transformers like in the movies. These are self-replicating ships. And hell, you really can't argue for either one. If you're stuck in the middle, you haven't decided what you believe. These two articles are not going to help you, not in one bit. But check them out. They're good stories. If you need help to get budged in one way or another, this is where you should go. Now, could there be tiny spacecrafts that are, traveling the universe, basically invading any civilization as they wish without being detected? I'm sure there is. It's very possible. Hell, we had spacecrafts the size of jet fighters moving about like they didn't give two shits who saw them. Why wouldn't they drop off a bunch of little tiny spacecrafts, little probes, little drones to do their bidding? Hell, humans do it all the time now. That's how they get around. That's how they spy. That's how they see things that they shouldn't be looking at. Billy, this is the episode for today. I assume you'll have a comment in about 10 minutes. But in the meantime, I'll leave you guys with this another song. It's called Demon. We all got one inside of us. Some of them just like to watch YouTube. Ciao. By the way, some of you already like hung up and gave up on the podcast because I said that was the last song. I got one more song to play, and I'm going to play it just because in the chat room I currently have Gutter and Dave, who were here the last episode. So listen. Oh, by the way, Gutter says, I'm surprised no one is talking about what Snowden said. That was a good one, right? That, what can you do? Everyone's ending up on the good old Joe Rogan show. And I had someone recently comment to me about the Snowden situation. The fact that Snowden said he didn't find anything about aliens. And that's true. He really never said that he saw aliens. What he said was that he saw some kind of listing for terrestrial officers and some other stuff that he felt that it was, I don't know, maybe signs to having some kind of a deep space situation. But we'll talk about that coming up on the next episode, the fabled, it might be live video episode, which, geez, who knows? But let me just play one last song. It's called At 2 a.m. because some of you might have to go out and get yourself that last beer. Take that last shot. It usually happens around this time, 2 a.m. Now I can say ciao. Ciao.